Hello everyone. So today I went to Liwa and to race the Liwa Cycle Classic. I've been doing a few bike races recently, mostly because it makes me work on where I feel it's my weakness on the bike, which is basically anaerobic efforts, very punchy type of efforts, and I'm definitely not an explosive guy. Very aerobic, mostly for the kind of sport that I do, which is obviously Ironman. So it makes me work hard, and that's also why I do a lot of group riding every time I can. We drove. I drove with David Williams on the day before. We arrived on the night before. We just slept comfortably, I would say. And then we woke up the next morning, and we made our way to Liwa for the start. This bike race comes in on a final block of training for me leading up to Ironman in Argentina, and obviously I don't peak for this type of races, but still I use Training Peaks to track my training, and along with my coach, we noticed my CTL, which is basically residual fatigue, was kind of high leading up to this week. So we took this week relatively easy to begin with, and so it made me comfortable that I could have a good race. So fast forwarding to the race, I'm gonna split the race into two basically. One when we first were all together, and obviously when we are all together, it's always a little sketchy to ride too far back in the group. So I try to stay as close to the front as I can. And obviously there's a lot of attacks because people are usually fresh, and everyone wants to make their own attack. There were a few attacks on the first 20k. There was actually one that I thought it would make it through, where I was along some fast riders, including David, one of my teammates as well, or both my teammates were on that breakaway as well. By the way, I'm racing for Frontier Sports now, and we had 4 guys on this race. It was David, me, Erwin, and Rob, and our plan was pretty much to try and obviously attack at a time, try to one of us make a breakaway, or 2 of us make a breakaway. So there was a breakaway early on that I thought it would make it. It didn't quite make it, and we got caught, but still. And the first half was pretty much a bunch of attacks. No one really got away. About, I'm gonna say 25k into the race, there was an attack by someone that David responded, and I know we got caught, and David attacked right away, and Johan from Cycle Hub also went with David. And honestly, because David obviously it was on he's racing on my team, I thought it would have somewhat of a chance of making it. But it was so early because this was a 62k race, and this happened 25k into the race, that I thought that I wouldn't try to breach the gap and try to get on that 2-man breakaway right away, because eventually, I mean, there were some strong fellas on this group, and I thought that we would cut back. What leads me to the second part of the ride, which was basically David with Johan at the front, and obviously when I have a teammate at the front, I and obviously the other team members try to not exactly block anyone on the main group, but obviously we will not work. Most of the work was actually very unorganized. I guess that's how it is when there's not a team with more than 3 or 4 elements on the group. But I mean, there were basically like 2-3 guys. I know Liam Beck was pulling a lot. Paul Sheetman was pulling a lot, and these two were trying to bridge up the gap. Yas Cycles has a lot of guys in the group, but they weren't very organized, and I guess the group didn't actually make an effort to cut back with David and Johan. So David and Johan got away, and their breakaway just stick because obviously my team wasn't working and no one else wanted to lead the job, and so for us it was a perfect situation because David was on the breakaway. Eventually Dave just went on solo on the final 10K and just won the race, and for us on this grupo was basically see who would get first to the finish line. So at maybe like 10K to go, we have the situation where we have David solo at the front because he already managed to kindly get rid of Johan. Johan was in between David and us, and the Liwa Classic, this race specifically, ends up on a 1.6K climb up to the hotel, and obviously I think a lot of us were already thinking who would get the final place in the podium. So 10K to go, David is alone at the front. There is Johan between David and us. Our pace was not very high, so I guess Johan managed to still get away, still get to the finish line ahead of the main group. There was one attack. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but Mohamed Al something. I'm sorry. He broke away from Al Watba cycling team, and he broke away maybe 8K to go. I wasn't sure. I tried to go with him, but at that point I looked back and thought that maybe the group would catch back. Eventually Mohamed managed to stay away from us, and after David won the race, Mohamed got still caught up with Johan, and he got second, and then Johan got third, and I managed somehow, I don't have footage of it, but I managed somehow to be the first out of the main group to make the climb. Again, I feel like I don't have that explosive power that 1.6K climb needs, but I do feel like I race better. So when everyone's tired, I race better. So when everyone's tired and everyone's going slow, I'm the less slow. When everyone's fresh and I'm fresh as well, I have a really hard time keeping up. So for me, it was ideal situation. The approach to the climb was kind of slow, and so we got to the final climb, and I managed to be the first out of that group, and David won. And Erwin and Rob, our team members, basically got 6th and 8th overall. So we got 4 guys in the top 10. So it was a pretty good day. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll try to make a few more videos. I don't race cycling races that often, but I'll try to make it out there often. Thank you for watching.